Why is the first thing that comes to mind a frog?
I think he's like a dog because he's probably the most loyal and true friend that you could ever have.
He would be a raccoon, and he knows why.
And, you know, some things that happen at SOAR stay at SOAR.
Mr. Stewart would be a black lab.
I thought maybe he should be a dog, but can't just be an old mutt. You know, he's got to be one of those companion dogs.
You know, I think he's got to be a chameleon. Not because he can change colors, but that would be pretty cool. Mike, have you ever thought about a nice pink shade for you or something? But no, I digress. I think chameleon because you change and you adapt.
Intelligent.
A friend.
He's dedicated.
I think of Mike Stewart, I think of rapport.
Well, I can't come up with one. I have to use two. I would say thorough and thoughtful.
Indescribable.
Compassionate. Mike was one to always put others ahead of himself.
I said, as a person, I'd say honorable. As a teacher, I'd say fair.
Say Huskers because Mr. Stewart is the Husker guru. I'm really going to miss talking women's Husker sports with him.
Humble. Mr. Stewart's very humble.
Irish. Is trustworthy. I mean, I can count on him, and he is there for me, and always has been.
I thought of meticulous, dependable, reliable.
He's always on. He's always consistent.
I'm going to say faithful.
I've said this before, but just so very, very caring.
Scheduler. He is a master at scheduling. We don't know what we're going to do without that.
That we can tell on camera?
Yeah.
I think it has to be the frog dissection lab, but also it has a special smell in the hallway throughout that time.
He would always be at basketball games, volleyball games, and I was always running concessions. So if there was ever a time, and there were a number of those, where I was overwhelmed in the concession stand, Mike would always chip in and help bail me out.
Mike has a cabinet that has a lot of food in it in his room, and it's right behind his desk, and I would go in there a lot of times because I was hungry. And I apologize, Mike, but I really probably stayed longer than I probably should have most times.
When he blew all the hair off my arm with a hydrogen balloon. Probably the most recent memory, I think, is, and you know what this is, Black Shirt Wednesdays. Enough said.
He's always looking after all of us when it comes to group things. So it might not even be science related, but he might find an article that's social studies related or math related. He's always willing to help us out.
And we're sitting and we saw Mr. Stewart zoom by on the carpet Zamboni like cleaning machine, and we looked in the hallway and we just saw him driving by, and later we found out that he the keys were still in it, and he thought, why not?
How much he cared about his students, and if he was hurting for a kid, you could always see it in his eyes.
After school cookouts, and watching him go pyromaniac on Peeps.
As much into the art stuff as the biology stuff, he is kind of like a kid himself when it comes to the art things. He always likes to try them. Like he made this amazing ceramic fish one summer.
It took a few years before I ever had the courage to go in and do the frog dissection, and I was there standing watching the kids, and I thought, boy, I'm really going to do this, and they're just getting ready to cut the frog skin, and all of a sudden in the back behind me, Mr. Stewart is standing there with a stuffed frog and croaks in my ear. Probably jumped about 10 feet. I turned around, I screamed, and he's kind of looking like, ooh, that's a little more than I expected.
It'd have to be an old song, sorry. It's a Wonderful Life.
I'd say the theme song for the Kansas City Royals. I don't know what it is, but that'd be his theme song.
Getting jiggy with it.
I was trying to think of a song that included spiders and skeletons and frogs and birds and more spiders.
A Billy Swan song from the 70s called I Can Help. And that was Mike to a fault. I mean, he would do whatever he could to help you out.
The only thing, and it's just really stupid, was Jeremiah was a bullfrog. It ends up, joy to the world. So.
I would say leaving on a jet plane, because Mike loves to travel, and he and Diana have done some fantastic trips.
The Nebraska fight song, because he's such a true Husker fan, and now he's going to get to go to tons of games.
Fishing in the Dark by Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Help! I need somebody's help. Well, now see, he doesn't need any help. Mike, you don't need any help. But, if somebody needs help, you're there, and that is fantastic. So I'm going to say Help by the Beatles.
A professional frog dissector.
The train conductor at the Henry Dorley Zoo.
He would be a tree hugger, and the reason is because he's always out educating people, trying to save animals, unless it is deer hunting season.
Those people, Duck Dynasty, they don't have anything on you. Deer hunter, slam dunk.
A comic strip editor, as he would always bring in these comic strips to me in the morning, and they're always like math related, math jokes, and the sad part is, like, half the time I didn't get the jokes. So I kind of awkwardly laugh, but then secretly I'd Google what the joke was about once he left, and then later I'd kind of reference it again like I knew it was what it was about in the first place.
You'd be a farmer.
That's the same thing I thought of. Yep.
As a zoologist, studying animals, he could be on a bike ride, and if he would drive by a roadkill that he didn't have in his collection, he'd maybe not throw it in his bike bag, but he'd come back later and pick that up, take it home, and eventually add that skull to his collection. Would be a chicken farmer.
I think Mike Stewart, science guy, would be a great profession for him, because he could take Bill Nye any day.
Like out in nature and like living off the land and like being a tour guide for celebrities that don't know how to do it. I think Mr. Stewart would be like have his own TV show like Bear Grylls.
Hard to put him into one. Let's call him Superman.
I think he'd be Superman.
Superman.
Will be Superman because he has his natural powers. He's the man of steel. He's the man of science.
Like when we were little and we used to watch, was it Doug?
Yeah.
He could be Quail Man because he does that unit where the kids have to do the bird things.
The Riddler, because he likes little jokes.
The Flash. I picture Mr. Stewart as the Thing from Fantastic Four. He's kind of ugly on the out. No, wait. That's not what I want to say. Let me check my notes again. No. He's rock solid. He's rock solid. The Thing is rock solid. Mr. Stewart is rock solid. He's one of the best people I know, and I thank him for his friendship. And wow, wish you the best. Wish you the best.
We didn't have any trouble with that one. For Sword, it'd have to be Batman or Spider-Man because we've done them both.
Chuck Norris. Mike and Chuck Norris are very similar. Mike went on a trip recently to France, and he went out for a leisurely bike ride just for a morning stroll, and he accidentally won the Tour de France.
I'm going to go with the Hulk. That Mike has a warm and fuzzy side to him, but you don't want to make him angry.
I was trying to figure what superheroes are there out there that have anything to do with fire, and the only one I could really think of or find was Ghost Rider. And I don't know if Mike is really a leather kind of guy, or has chains or those types of things, or has a Harley at home. But
it has to be Captain America because he is such a lover of his nation, of his country, and somebody who wants to defend it, and I think that's awesome.
Mr. Stewart would be Aquaman because he knows the sea animals very well. I don't know.